Hi everyone. I was asked by Ms. Soccerstar1 if I would do any spoilers, so this is new. I thought I'd try it, but it makes sense that I would do this since I troll the internet anyway for any news on Naya or Heather. And also with Glee pertaining to. Sorry, I just took a shower. So my hair is like a freaking mess. Anyway, where was I? Oh, so basically I look on the internet for things that involve Naya or Heather, and obviously Glee. I encourage all of you who don't follow Twitter if you're scared of it, don't be scared. I was too. You could actually sign up, make an account, it's free, and you don't necessarily have to post anything. You could just join and then you can follow whoever you want. So for example, Naya Rivera was the first person I ever followed, and literally I would have been happy just following her. But Twitter's awesome, I find. There's only 140 characters, and so essentially it's like status update. It's like the best, in my opinion, one of the best things about Facebook is status updates. So if you just like doing status updates, there you go. Don't be afraid of the nomenclature that's being used. People are basically making new words because space is at a premium, 140 characters. So they usually do hashtag whatever you want to say. So for example, this past Thursday, they wanted to try to trend something, which is what TT is, what that means, like trending topic. So the goal for Britannia fans was to make it a point to show like how pissed off we were. So this week's um I don't know what it's called, like whatever, like so at any rate, it was called hashtag there's a lot of them. Hashtag we love hemo, hashtag love is love, hashtag gay sharks if you want to specifically cater your tweet to afterellen.com's website. So you'd say something and say hashtag gay sharks, hashtag Ratana, hashtag Glee. So Glee would see it or focus on it, and afterellen.com would as well. And you can always so make your own tags. That's what it's called, tags. So, for example, I make up my own like hashtag nice and flawless human being. Like that's my own tag, and then it recognizes it and all that stuff. So, if you feel like getting involved in Twitter, do it. I think it's great. You can also follow Ryan Murphy when he says shit that's stupid, but you can hear it directly from him. Or the other alternative to this is joining Tumblr. Now, Tumblr is pretty much a blog, which is I think great because there, you find a whole community of people who feel as passionate as you do. Like, for example, about Britannia. And I know you can feel passionate about tons of things, sports, cooking, whatever your interests are. But there's bound to be one person, at least in this whole God's green earth, that will have the same interests as you. So, in my case, there's tons of us who love Britannia, gay, straight, whoever. So I found a lot of comfort through them in dealing with the fact of how fucked up they've been treated. A third website I'd like to talk about that you can get some fulfillment from is fanfiction.net. So I used to think this is insane. Like I would never read this stuff, but to be quite honest with you, there are a lot of gifted writers out there, and they tend to take the characters that Glee has given, Brittany and Santana, for example, or Finn and Rachel, and whatever ship you want, and they just kind of go and run with the idea. So whether, like, for example, and I never thought I would actually be writing it either, but I got inspired because I was like, you know what? Why didn't I write stories that I want, that I'm interested in, using these characters? Because obviously they already have a whole set of characteristics that we don't have to go through and make. So honestly, I think that's one of the reasons why it's so easy to write fanfiction, because you love Santana or you love Brittany, and you know their nuances and how they should be acting, right? So that's one of the things that's built in when you do fanfiction. You don't have to come up with new characters. I mean, you can, but the main people usually are, for example, like Klain is going to be Blaine and Kurt. So those are my three um, recommendations for people if you want to get more involved in the Britannia community. Tumblr tends to do a lot of spoilers. They'll say like spoiler alert. There are other people that I follow here on YouTube, like Oh Little Sparrow. Her one true pairing is Klain, but she also does enjoy Britannia. So she does a spoiler episode, I think, every week. And she's pretty great. I enjoy her blog or her video channel, whatever. But I'm gonna do some of the spoilers that I've seen floating around, just in reading since the last Swan Songs episode. So, if you don't want to know what's going on in the future, I highly recommend you stop watching this right now because I'm about to go and talk about a couple of spoilers that I've read. I would also like to make an asterisk or a note is that I try to find um, spoilers through reputable sources. Because anybody pretty much can put out anything they want on the internet. So I tend to go for publications like the Hollywood Reporter, more so over somebody who just wrote an opinion piece. Um, Over on Twitter, there are a couple people who apparently work for Glee on set, and they do tend to leak spoilers without revealing who they are. So, and those are pretty accurate usually. The other thing through is that I get information from is through Twitter, because actually, Brad Falchuk is on there, Ryan Murphy's is on there, Adam Anders, who's like the music guy, John Locke, who plays the drums in the band whenever they're singing, Brad Ellis, who is the piano player. There's a bunch of them on Glee. Who else? Brooke Lipton is the assistant choreographer. Zach Woodley's on there too. So it's a lot of fun to follow them, and then you can also follow the actors themselves, and their close friends. Like Telly is like, I guess, like this awesome guy who works with Nia and everybody, and it's like one of Nia's best friends, and he's on there. So it's fun to see them banter back and forth. Definitely one of the celebrities who really focuses on Twitter a lot is Leah Michelle. She tweets several times a day. Diana Agron has a wonderful blog that's very artistic and great. If you don't know, I believe it's called Me, You, and Charlie, which was like some kind of nickname or something that she has. Um, Kevin McHale also has a blog that's pretty interesting that he shares with his friends. But I'd say the most consistent tweeter out of all of them is Leah Michelle. She always gives something great. Like for example, this morning she gave everybody previews of her um, Marie Claire interview and also some pictures from that. So she's pretty great on updating her Twitter. Naya's pretty good too, but she used to be more involved. I think she's just maybe over it now. So she'll do like one tweet every so often or a couple of days depending on her mood. Which the other person who tends to tweet a lot is Harry Shum Jr. But his are great because they're all very like with dance and stuff like that. Corey tends to take funny pictures, and Corey's actually an awesome guy. Making the distinction between him and Finn more and more obvious. Okay, so now it's 7:20. We're gonna launch into some spoilers. So this coming episode is called Glee. Actually, it's their Christmas episode. This is the third year they've done one. It's become sort of a tradition now. And so the basis, I'm assuming, if you know the movie Love Actually, is that it's taking all the characters and somehow they're going to intersect at the end, which I think is a pretty great idea. Obviously, I don't think Will's involved. Still, he went back to Washington supposedly after sectionals, so Finn's still the man in charge. So, I'm interested to see how Finn is going to step up his game, you know, after what happened. He did a pretty good job of acting like the adult, even though he's probably like less than a year older than all these kids. I thought he did a pretty good job handling, trying to motivate them to like come back together as new directions. And I usually don't like Finn at all, so there you go. Um, there's another blogger, I think his name is CarterMatt.com. So he tends to have pretty good spoilers as well. The one I don't really trust is Wet Paint because they just pull from anywhere. And like if you look at the bottom, they'll like source Ryan Murphy via Twitter. I'm like, well, I guess, but like, I just don't find them very reputable, but that's just my own opinion. I don't really know them or whatever. So I tend to look at the Hollywood Reporter, like I said before, Tim Stack over in Entertainment Weekly. Also over on E, Kristen De Los Santos focuses on certain shows. She tends to have spoilers for Glee. And then Michael Oswego of TV Line does great spoilers. His are pretty spot on as well. So I suggest, if you don't want to hear me ranting and raving, or you'd like to hear more information about the ones I do say, go to the aforementioned websites that I have discussed. Uh, you could always just pop into Google or Bing or Yahoo, Naya Rivera, and click news, and you'll get news that way, videos, whatever you want. Even here on YouTube, because fans make amazing things. Okay, so here we go. So we come to find out that number one, Quinn will be in another episode. She's actually going to be traveling to visit Rachel in New York City. We also come to find out that Santana will also be in the city at the same time, and that they do sing a song together, all three girls, which is amazing, I think. So at least we get that, knowing that Quinn will be back for at least one episode. I have a feeling that Diane Agron's ready to move on from Glee, probably because the shit-ass story that they gave her and treated her character horribly. So I wouldn't blame her if she never decided to only come back for like Christmas and Thanksgiving or graduation or something. The other spoiler alert, I believe, is by episode 13 or 14. Um, Santana has a huge like revelation about, should she stay in Louisville and pursue this cheerleading scholarship, or should she go to New York? Obviously, it's speculated pretty much, and not much of a spoiler, that Santana will end up in New York City with Kurt and Rachel. So then you'll have three of them in the city, and we'll have Quinn over at EL, which isn't that far, which is pretty cool. I'm trying to think what other spoilers I can think of. Obviously, they're very going to be very Britannia centric. Oh, so for example, in this coming episode for Bram, Ryan Murphy thought it was hysterical. It would be hysterical to focus on the Mayan apocalypse. So he felt the only characters appropriate to deal with the Mayan apocalypse were Bram. So apparently people are already pissed because Brittany doesn't show like any kind of like missing Santana or whatever. But one of the spoilers I read is like, don't fret, she does still love Santana. Santana still loves her too. They're gonna find their way back to each other eventually. So for those of you who don't like care for Bram, that's fine. I don't particularly care for them, but I think they are cute together, but only as a platonic friendship. So it kind of makes me cringe when they kiss, but I mean they have really great funny chemistry, like friendship kind of chemistry together. I'm trying to think. Uh, I don't really know what they're doing with Arnie and Tina. Like, yeah, I don't know. Sugar's there sporadically, in and out because she's just a recurring character. Who else are the seniors? I'm trying to think. Oh. Brittany's the second year senior. Already talked about her. Sam already talked about him. So that's pretty much, I think, all I know about the new old directions who are still in the quiet room right now. What other spoilers do I know? Well, we do know that Kurt got into Nyada, so that probably means that Sarah Michelle Gellar's, not Sarah Michelle Gellar's, I'm always getting accused of three people with three names. Is Sarah Michelle Parker. Is that it? I can't even remember, honestly. Carrie Bradshaw from Sex and the City. Maybe her, episode arc is completed. I kind of hope it isn't, because I think she's a great mentor. She's the complete opposite of Cassandra July. Like, she has really good intention when she gives Kurt advice. And I kind of feel that Cassandra July does have good ideas and pushes Rachel in a different way, I guess, obviously, because Rachel doesn't back down from a fight, and she likes, to prove people wrong, I believe, and she believes in her raw talent. So, she's a feisty little one. So I feel like Cassandra July, some people might think she's being harsh or not a mentor. Some mentors are like that. They alienate you, they frustrate you, but it's order to get the best out of you. Kurt kind of needs more of a soft hand approach compared to Rachel. He's more sensitive, so that's why I think Isabel's character works great as a mentor for Kurt. Let's see. I mean, obviously after this episode that's airing the new one, they're probably not going to be back until January, towards the end of January. If you think about the pattern of how they handle their hiatuses. And probably for the rest of December, we'll get Christmas episodes from season 2 and season 3 repeating, which is fine by me. I don't get to see them that often. I really like the first Christmas episode. The second one's kind of different, but at least we got Santana and Brittany in awesome outfits holding hands and looking at each other longingly again. So I don't anticipate Glee being back until at least the middle of no January, like the second, well, most likely the second or third week. Because they're going to be wrapping up for February sweeps. If you don't aren't aware of February sweeps, it's a really big time in the industry, because that's when they sell ad time during the shows. So obviously their target audiences are usually 18 to 36 or whatever it is, and they want to make sure that people who see a commercial will buy that product. That's the point of February and November sweeps. It happens twice a year. So I'm pretty sure that Glee will have the full slate of episodes. So usually that runs anywhere from 21 to 23 episodes for the whole year. And I don't quite know what episode number they're on right now that they're filming, and they actually tape multiple episodes at the same time. So they could be shooting right now episode 13 and 14. I'm trying to think. I think the really only big spoiler I had was that Quinn will be coming back, and that Naya will also be there, and they'll be singing. That's the big one that I'm excited about, to hear all three of them sing together, because we haven't heard that at all. And honestly, I miss hearing Naya's voice sing. Like for example, I didn't realize how much I miss Rachel's solo, because she knocked that out of the park. And I feel like they finally figured out what range Diana Agron has to showcase her, because she did really well in Homeward Bound. She doesn't have quite the range, obviously, as Leah Michelle. Nobody really does. But she is her when she's within her own wheelhouse. She does a nice job. She has a very nice, airy, floaty quality about her. Very ethereal, I'd say. As opposed to Santana slash Naya, who has like really, she could turn it on to like grit or gospel, or she could change her voice just like Leah can and Mercedes can. And Brittany's obviously even limited in her singing ability, I think. Heather is, but she has fun with it. So she's auto-tuned the shit out of pretty much. I mean, they all are, but some of them could sing without auto-tune and sound amazing. And I feel like Heather will sing, and she'll do great. She doesn't really care. It seems like she has that kind of attitude. And then they'll just auto-tune her out. Like, for example, in the Britney episode, the first one and the second one, I thought she did a great job. Okay, so we're coming up on 16 minutes here in my spoiler video, the first one I'm trying to do. So, like I said, this goes out to Miss Soccer Star number one. So this is one's for you, dedicated to you. Um, if any of you feel the want to follow me on Tumblr, I will have the links at the bottom of my page, as well as my link to the fanfiction I've written. Mostly it's Britannia, Heya, but I'm trying to branch out more because I feel like, I want to make a different couple the main focus. So, which is exciting because I get to rewatch Glee and focus on Rachel and Quinn versus Brittany and Santana, because I pretty much recognize and have memorized what interaction they're going to be doing in each episode. That's how much of a crazy fan I am. The other thing I'd like to tell you about is that Heather Morris actually reads every piece of fan mail that she gets, and she actually, if you ask for an autograph, she will send one to you. People have posted, I've seen it, so I'm thinking of writing a letter to her and to Naya, just asking for an autograph. I have never done this before, but they have made such an impact in my life. It really means a lot to me. They said Heather takes a while to get back to you, obviously, so like, don't lose hope if you're like in month 4 or 6 and she still hasn't gotten back to you. Um, Naya, since Hemo's not on Twitter, um, and refuses so, Naya tends to post like thank you for posting X video, or she would watch it. So she's pretty great about that. So that's my little cute little fun treat for you. Maybe my next week's video will be the letters that I write to Heather and Naya, and you can give me your input, and I'll let you know whenever I get something back from them. Because I actually did buy something that made me think of unicorns, and I was going to mail it to Heather. So now I need to think of something to give Santana slash Naya. So anyway, I hope you have a great week. It is Monday, so only T minus 3 days till the Christmas episode, Glee actually. Um, I am working that night that it is airing, so look for um, my recap either Friday or Saturday at the latest. All right, peace out, homies. Take care, and I'll see you later on in the week. All right, bye.